at least not for your program, but this has got to be really cool, a treat for your girls.
It really is. I have been a part of the tournament down there before, so the players are excited and they should be excited. It's you have the team bonding, that element part of it, traveling like that, but also you have quality competition on a neutral floor in a beautiful setting. But once we kind of get to Wednesday night, it'll be back to, I told them they'll feel like they're in Lawrence.
How is the field overall?
It's good. Central Michigan gave Oklahoma all they could handle last year in the NCAA tournament. They played a pretty tough schedule. Their record is indicative. They played at Kentucky. They played at Marquette. And both of those two teams are having a good year. But they're a team that averages 80 points, averages 74 shots a game, averages 20 offensive rebounds, and has got one of the best guards in the country, Crystal Bradford, who is a USA basketball kid. Actually, I think hit a shot to win the gold medal of the World University Games team. So. But pieces around her, as they can shoot the ball really well, gives her room to play. They play the dribble drive, kind of space you out, 4 out, 1 in. So they're really good. Now, Xavier's situation, they've got 8 new players, but I took a peek at them last night just because I've been through all the Central Michigan stuff twice now. So let me just, because it's going to be, that's a quick turnaround. I'll watch some on the plane tomorrow just from a familiarity standpoint. But they're, they've got a couple guys that shoot the ball really well, and they're 5 out. So we've played more. Our bigs are chasing everybody here. We've played more perimeter defense as post players. Now Minnesota, that was different. Those two kids sat in the paint, but so that'll. And then Duke, obviously, second in the country. They're off to a really good start. Really, really talented players. So, but we're for our kids, all they know is Central Michigan. We haven't talked about or said anything else other than that, and that's the way it should be because we've got our hands full with those guys.
Does that make it a little better when you know the 3 too?
I think
you're not playing,
yeah, I think it does.
In indoor situation.
Yeah, that you're not preparing for someone that you're not going to play, and that I think, for me it does from a sneak a peek ahead of time because the turnaround so fast. By the time we get back to the hotel and we've got to have the meeting and the game plan in about how we're going to play things, but it also kind of gives you a chance to really be good at what you do and kind of embrace, hey, this is who we are. We can adjust so much in a short period of time, but. I think how we play helps us from, try and get up and down in transition, go through the bigs. That kind of stuff is important. And we've played so many different style teams already this year. We really have.
Right.
So that'll help us in our preparation.
Do you think going to, with this young team and so many inexperienced gals, do you think that the Minnesota thing was good just to go on the road and see what that's like, even though it's totally different what you're about to do?
It's good for us to travel because it does. It just feels different. That's what people, And if you look at that, the confidence we should gain from how well we started, got back in the game, got to learn from where we let it go. There's about 4-minute mark, about the 9-minute mark to about 5-minute mark or just under 5 that, they went on an 8-0 run, and that's where but then we have some toughness to get back in it, make it a one-possession game. Then we got to be tough enough to win it then. And then when shots aren't falling, got to be tough enough to then win it in the 50s, because that's where we were offensively. We really struggled. But so I think there's things that we can kind of hang our hat on and go, hey, listen, we did a couple things really, really well. We got to repeat that, and then we can clean up the rest of this because there's things, a lot of that stuff we were in control of. So I think, even though disappointed we lost, don't. I mean, certainly, obviously, but with the young group here, we got to kind of keep them. I think so much more when they're young too, that because they're disappointed and they want to go up there and win, and felt like we were off to a good start, and with Creighton here because that's a good team. So, but they're excited about this. I think it'll be really, really good for us.
Overall, your kind of non-conference schedule. We talked about kind of the build-up and the road game in Minnesota. These 3 this weekend.
Yeah, you got Arkansas coming back. You got Texas Southern who's off to a good year. You got Purdue who's picked I think the top 3 or 4 in the league. Yeah.
So you got to be pretty tested.
Yeah, and that's good because our league is so good, and that's where, especially for the young kids, our returners know that. The freshmen, they know that because they've been told that, but they haven't experienced that yet. So, for us, we can kind of turn some of these teams into conference teams, but the freshmen don't understand what we're talking about. The returners do. We're like, hey, this is kind of Iowa State-ish, or so the returners go, oh, okay, and the freshmen go, huh? we don't play them till February. I'm like, well, yeah, but so that piece of it. So I think half the group gets it, and half the group goes, huh? So, but from an energy and being dialed in and stuff, they're really good. I mean, they get that piece of it.
Better than nobody getting it.
And we have more than half. I mean, we do have more than half. I would say that, but it maybe not. They don't instantly when it comes out of my mouth go, yeah. Eventually go, oh, okay. It takes a while.
Will this trip be about your seniors kind of taking the lead and saying, okay, let's go win some games
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Because, for young kids, it's got to be so exciting to go somewhere like
Right.
that, but also just they're inexperienced still. I mean, is this where you're going to say, hey, Chelsea or whoever, Asia, whoever.
Yeah, those upperclassmen, those kids have had the most experience have got to say this is why we're now. They haven't played in a tropical.
Right.
I'm trying to think because when we went to the Bahamas, that was Danielle's senior year, so none of these guys were here. Cece might have been here. Cece might have been a freshman, but those kids. So we've already had that talk. Like we're going to let you get in the water a little bit on Wednesday, and then we're going to go practice. And by the time we get to Wednesday night, you might as well be in Lawrence, Kansas.
Right, okay.
You know what I'm saying? You're going from the hotel to the gym, and the fact that we play 4:30 every day. By the time you get it turned around and get back to the hotel and start your prep. And they get up the next morning and go to shoot around or a walkthrough, depending on how we make those decisions. They really aren't, I think, as good as opposed to an 8 o'clock tip, sit around all day going, well, the beach looks kind of nice and the water sure is pretty. We won't even be distracted by that because we're not going to have time to do that, Thank goodness.
Yeah, no kidding. What's it going to take to go there and get some wins?
We've got to be more consistent. We can't have stretches of 4 and 5 minutes. I mean, the quality competition is too good. You get people that can run you out of the gym if you do that. So we've got to be more consistent. We've got to get more out of our bench, and I've got to get a little bit deeper. And you're playing 3 in 3 days, and I'm not going to play the first day to rest people for the second. We're going to win the first one and do whatever we need to do, but I would like to, and I feel like I need to. I got to get a little more energy off the bench. And I thought Jada gave it grace balance. I mean, she's an undersized kid, but she's not an under-effort kid. I mean, she flew around and she was, gave up about 50 pounds on both those big kids the other day, but she used her advantage as her feet, and I thought she did a really good job. And I think there's some kids on the bench that can help us a little bit more.